I'm Mike Hanwald, field agronomist with Beck's Hybrids, and I'm out here in a field of 5507 here today in late September. Decent looking field of corn, and wanted to show some things that I've been seeing out here in the cornfield and some questions I've gotten, answer some questions that I've gotten over the past week or so about some of the things that are going on. Now, when it comes to determining whether or not to harvest, there's some things that you can look for out in the field to help you identify which fields might be a little bit higher priority, because we certainly are seeing quite a few challenges out in some cornfields, and so I want to talk through some of those. So the first one I'll talk through is tar spot. That's obviously for those of us in northern Ohio, that is the new disease that we're dealing with here this year that we may not have seen a lot of before. And so it looks like just what its name is, black spots, tar spot that you see there on the leaves. And the state of Michigan has dealt with this, and some of northern Indiana has dealt with this for several years now, and we've learned quite a bit in what we've observed up there and how tar spot behaves. But this is our first year really seeing this disease in a big way in Ohio. Now, it can be tempting to blame all the problems we might have at harvest with our corn crop on this disease because it is new and it's something different and something we haven't dealt with a whole lot. But I want to talk through what some other things might be that could cause some issues in our fields besides just tar spot. So first, a quick idea on tar spot. So obviously the characteristic black spots, but the way to know for sure is try and scrape those black spots off. And if you can't scrape them off the leaf and they appear on both the top and the bottom of the leaves, then that's a way to know for sure that you're dealing with tar spot. But it's not the only disease that we have on this particular leaf. This was an ear leaf of this 5507 here. So we also have gray leaf spot here, which is these black rectangle shaped lesions that you see, and some of these smaller round lesions are gray leaf spot. And then we have northern corn leaf blight, which are these a little bit longer gray shaped lesions that you can see here. So we've actually got three different diseases going on here. Now, I know that this looks pretty bad as far as tar spot goes with being covered in these black spots. But in this case, it's not something that we're going to panic about. So if you haven't seen a lot of tar spot, one of the things that you will see before tar spot gets real bad are these brown circles or grayish brown circles around the black spots. And you can see we've got two of them here on this leaf. And I had to look pretty hard to find a leaf that had these brown circles on there. If tar spot infects early enough in the season to cause severe yield loss, you would see almost every one of these black spots with this brown circle around it. So that's one indicator that tar spot most likely came in late enough that it's not going to cause too much of a problem. The other thing is the time at which it infected. And so I have been watching this field pretty close, and this infection came in the R5, the dent stage. And from what we've seen, again, past experience up north where tar spot's been an issue over several years, is if you can make it to the dough stage, the R4 stage, that's when that kernel starts to get some dry material in it. But if you can get to the dough stage before you see the black spots start to show up, you're probably going to be okay. But if tar spot comes in before the dough stage, so if it comes in at the blister or the milk stage, R2 or R3, it can actually cause the plant to die prematurely, and then it can lead to major issues as far as reducing yield. We've heard of 30 to 40 bushel yield reductions when it comes in early like that, and also we get into standability issues and stalk challenges. And so tar spot can be a really bad thing, but if it infects late or if we treat it timely with a fungicide, then it's going to end up and shouldn't be too much of an issue. And I think for most of our fields in Ohio this year, the tar spot's not going to be a big deal besides the cosmetics that you see on the leaves. Now, interesting enough, this field was sprayed with a fungicide at the R2, the blister stage. And so I was starting to see some gray leaf spot come in at that point. And 5507 is a hybrid that we label as a high response to a fungicide. It's a little bit more susceptible to both gray leaf spot and northern corn leaf blight. We see both of these diseases here, but they're fairly well under control, being that we're at black layer and we still have this much stay green in our leaves. This is an ear leaf, and you can see here, looking at the canopy of the corn, that there's still a decent amount of green here left in the canopy, which is a really good sign, and that's what we like to see. Treated with a fungicide, tar spot and the other diseases can be managed very well. If you're not treated with a fungicide, then it depends on your hybrid, and the hybrids that are more tolerant to disease seem to be handling things to a certain degree, and those that are more susceptible to disease might be struggling a little bit more. So that's what we're seeing as far as disease goes. With that, I hope you found this information helpful as you prepare and begin to move through the harvest season. But if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to myself or your local Beck's representative, and we'd be happy to help.